Okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca Bradley. This is the Virtual Crime Book Club. It is the 2nd of February, the first meeting of 2026. Unfortunately, we didn't have one in January. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me in January with all the email issues I had. I'm still not sure I've resolved it because I tried to reply to some members that sent apologies this afternoon and it bounced back to me. So I'm going to have to sort that out still. But I'm glad everybody got the email anyway. Today we are discussing Guilty by Definition by Susie Dent. I did the audiobook this month. If you are watching the video on catch up, then be aware we are going to discuss full spoilers. We're just going to discuss everything. Has everybody read the book?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All the way
Yeah.
to the end so we know what's happening.
Yes.
Great. We'll just let Muriel log in and then we can get started. Hi Muriel, we've not got video. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't know why it did kick me out and then I had to go back in again.
Right, well, we've got you now. I've done all the intro, so we will start. What were people's thoughts? Did you enjoy the book?
I did.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
Lots of
did.
yeses. Sally's shaking her head. Sally, what didn't you own? Gillian's.
Well, I read it to the end because it was a good proposition, but I just found the writing really difficult. It was really strange. There kept being bits where she'd say something and I couldn't remember what she was talking about. Like she put the envelope in her pocket and it was ages since they'd mentioned the envelope. And it was really weird. And what was her name? The Safi. Safi was first to arrive at the office. Turn over the page. Alex and Martha were in the office. What? There were sort of lots of sort of weird bits like that where I felt the writing could have been very much improved.
Right, I didn't notice that in the audio, but I do listen on 1.7 speed, so yeah, I didn't notice that. Gillian, you were half and half. What were your feelings?
I agree, Sally. The proposition was brilliant, and I thought it was, really good. And I quite liked the writing. I just felt there were parts where, and I know exactly, obviously, who Susie Dent is, so obviously it was going to happen. But there was a lot of explaining meanings of words, which is great. I get that, but it took me out of the story. And back in again. I found that distracting, although obviously needed it, but I found that quite distracting. And I thought it wrapped up really rapidly, and it took me. I took a few tries to kind of understand the last kind of wrapping up of everything. I thought it was good. I felt like it was it was quite a good sort of cozy crime type thing. Yeah, I just found that it was the explaining took me in and out a lot of times.
Yeah.
That was that really.
I think everybody else has said they enjoyed it. What did you like about the book?
I'm one of the ones who would say I enjoyed it, although only after the first 50 pages, because the first 50 pages I just thought, oh, I'm not going to read this. But then after that, it picked up. I thought the story was quite enjoyable, the relationships between the characters. I did find the clues really dense. I wouldn't have got any of those clues how to find that book. I quite like the definitions that were inserted. Not so much the chapters of the books, but some of the definitions that were inserted. I really like those. Saying that, I did guess both who Chorus was and who ultimately was the murderer. But yeah, on the whole, quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. Nikki, you wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah. So am I the only American here? And there's a reason
No,
I'm
definitely
Oh,
not.
okay. Okay, so my family absolutely loves um what is it called? 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. So that's how I'm familiar with Susie Dent. And one of the things I kept making reference to my husband about is this book is so good. Jimmy Carr better not give her, he usually gives her a hard time about her crappy books. And that this one is so good. He better only say nice things because we have to watch it on YouTube. So we're always way later. So I'm super familiar with Susie Dent. And when I saw that this book was coming out, I love words. I love Susie Dent. And I actually thought she had been really clever in bringing together her love of words and her dictionary background with a mystery. And I thought the mystery was really well crafted. My copy also has an interview with her at the end,
The
and
audiobook did, yeah.
yeah, and she talked about how she's obviously a word expert, but to do the mystery part, she had gone back and read Agatha Christie's and Sayers, and I thought it really showed. I thought it was a really well crafted mystery. I only had half of it figured out. I didn't figure out who Chorus was, but I could tell the murderer or murderers to me were starting to feel a little obvious. It was that drop a character in that you don't really hear that much about. So I knew Gemma. I'm guessing it's Gemma with a G. Is it different British? Would it be
No,
with
it's
a G?
Gemma. Yeah, yeah.
Gemma. So I thought she was involved, and Olivia was just unhinged. So I figured it was Olivia. So anyway, I loved it.
Yeah. What did anybody else enjoy about it?
I thought that of the subgenre of cozy crime written by TV personalities, it was definitely above average.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
thought that, I mean, I quite liked the writing. I liked the characterization and the relationships between the characters. Um, I mean, I think where it felt, I mean, it got me thinking about, well, how do crime books unravel puzzles? Because it seemed to me it was quite sort of paper-based, both literally and metaphorically. It was kind of puzzle paper-based as opposed to what I think happens in most detective novels is where the detection is done by talking to people. And in a sense, I did wonder if that was a bit of a weakness of it, that it was kind of, it was kind of puzzle paper based, almost crossword based. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I did find the obscure medieval words a bit tiresome eventually. I quite enjoyed them at
Yes.
first, especially the ones that gave explanations. But eventually I was thinking, am I going to be able to read another book that's like this? I'm not sure. But I enjoyed it in general.
I don't usually enjoy cozies, but for some reason I loved this book. And I don't know whether it's because I read a lot of non-fiction as well, that I enjoyed the input about the words and how dictionaries are kept up to date. I just did not know the level of work that actually goes in to keeping our lexicon updated. So I was fascinated by that, and that was probably what kept me going because I don't usually like something that is as slow paced as that. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Did the input of all the words and the fact that it was dictionary based and it was a word puzzle rather than a detective trying to solve it or a amateur trying to solve it in a usual cozy, did that put you off or was it something that added extra?
Well, I enjoyed it because it didn't rely so much on technology or cameras or which is a tendency now with a lot of books because we live in the world of cameras and CCTV. So I enjoyed the fact that it was more the clues, having to see people, talking to them, and yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I agree, and I agree with you. Sorry, I'm Josie, not Zoom user. Sorry. Um, I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed all the definitions. I loved it from the start to the end. I It took me back to my degree, which was German and English literature. So all the references to Thomas Mann, Death in Venice, and T.S. Eliot, and all these things were just like music to my ears. So I loved it. And I just thought it was a really lovely novel because it's, it was all the sort of, not just all the word play and all the sort of clues, because I also love puzzles and escape rooms and murder mystery games and solving problems, solving, puzzles all the time. I spent my whole life doing that. I loved that. But it also delved into the whole sort of emotional aftermath of this disappearance and death. So it was a kind of, I don't know, it was a lovely cozy novel in my opinion. I loved all the characterization and I loved all the wits. I love that. I had to write it down. That is a bit over the top, but I love this little description. The sit up and beg bike was still enjoying its moment, as if each rider had just stepped off a Miss Marple adaptation and were on their way to the butcher's for something tied up with string. And I just love I just love that sort of description. So to me, it was a really big thumbs up. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, I did as well. The clues in the book were initially very much based on Shakespeare. Was anybody able to actually follow the clues or even figure them out with the characters?
Well, when they explained it, yes, but little by little, But yeah, I studied Shakespeare at uni, but not the sonnet. So I just did the plays, so I had no idea about all these things.
Yeah, with reading the or listening to the audiobook, the sentences just kind of came at me, and I wondered if anybody reading visually would be better placed to actually follow along with it. Because you can go back, can't you, and look at the paragraph. Whereas with the audiobook, particularly when I was in the car, you just got to keep listening.
Yeah. Well, I actually went back on some of the text and wrote down what they said and worked out, oh, that's how you do. Okay. But the fact that I find it a bit, well, you have to be a really good scholar and to know about your Shakespeare really well to be able to do it without writing it down, because they just enunciated things to each other and then, oh, yes, this and that. I had to write it down and to see what they meant. And it wasn't that obvious to me.
I think for me, that was the weakness of the book, is that you couldn't follow, well, I couldn't follow along because the clues were just so dense and difficult. And I think at the back of my book, Susie Dent said something like, oh, she did the clues so, people would understand them. But I mean, I didn't.
I think that's the mindset of somebody that is very capable in their field.
I mean, it is doable if you follow, because I'm not a scholar in Shakespeare at all. So I managed to work out some of the stuff that they were talking and understand rather what they meant. And you can do it, but you have to go slowly and write down what they mean. And I managed to get the text, the hidden text from that. There was one of them in particular.
So did you enjoy following the clues then, Muriel?
I did, but I suppose because I'm more used to more modern type of detective stories, it wasn't really. I just tried to see if I was able to do it, and it was okay. I liked the book mostly because I used to work in Oxford, at the Oxford University Press in the dictionary section. So it brought back a lot of, it really felt like going back there.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because it was exactly how she is describing it, how you work on the dictionary. And
it was very good on Oxford, I thought. Yeah.
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 I mean, obviously, the one they're working on is a fictitious one because the famous one, she couldn't use it. Is the Oxford OED? I can't remember what it is. Anyway, but it was that one that she was copying, the way they were working on it.
Yeah, it really surprised me the level of work that goes into it. Just you don't think about some things, do you really? So the clues were actually all about Martha's missing sister, Charlie. But when Martha started talking to people, it came across that Charlie wasn't actually, when somebody goes missing and then they think they're dead, people tend to put them on a higher pedestal. Did it change how you felt about the search for her, that people were quite negative about her?
I think it just added a lot of layers in a very good way so that it became a bit more multidimensional. I must say though that sorry, just going back to your previous question about the clues, I found them really difficult. Okay, I have no background in any of the above mentioned fields, and I was actually a little bit confused that other people in the book could solve it. So, like for example, Simon solved the clue, or yeah, and then they all ended up. Other people solved the clue and ended up at the library at the end in time, and I was like, okay, wow, this is apparently a one man can solve it overnight kind of clue, and I am just completely lost. But I was very much okay with that in the sense that I was like, okay, I don't understand these bits. I will let them read the letter, tell me the solution, and we'll move on. That's great. And similarly, as that unraveled, I feel that as Charlie's personality unraveled as well, it was quite it was quite nice. It was almost like in tandem that there were different things unraveling at the same time. And it added more nuance and it showed how you can still love someone and care for them and have a difficult relationship with them and still want to look for them and wish them well. And yeah, that I think that complexity of human character and the characters then kept me going because like Lynn said, the first 50 pages I was like, okay, this is going to be a struggle.
Yeah. So, do we think characters need to be likable for us to follow them? Because it seems to be a discussion that is had fairly often that you do get unlikable characters, and does that detract from the story? Or, as Divya said, is it more, it adds a multiple dimensions to the
Well,
story?
to me it depends because as been said, the beginning was tiresome, but I think for me it was because Martha was not somebody I wanted to like, and but talking about her sister, it was all about Martha's thinking, and it was all positive. But somehow her father had something else about the two sisters, and then it became less and less positive. And that, yeah, like Divya said, it is definitely better to add different layers to the character. But it does for me. If I hadn't if it hadn't been Susie Dent, I wouldn't have carried on because I didn't like Martha.
You didn't like Martha either?
No,
Wow.
no.
Oh.
Well, not. I don't know. She just was. She's. I mean, I understand afterwards why she was like that because she was the young ones that was kept in the dark about everything, so she didn't know what to think about her sister basically or her parents. But to me, she was like a wishy-washy kind of character. Didn't really make her like I didn't feel like liking her a lot to start with.
What are others people's opinions on unlikable characters? And was it okay that Charlie wasn't particularly likable until the book progressed?
I thought it was someone else mentioned it added nuance, but I think even more importantly, it built Martha's character for me because she was able to get more and more to a place of peace. So things that she had seen in her sister, and she thought over time as a youth, well, child, and then even older, is this just me being, a jealous younger sister, or is she the golden girl? Other people don't see this. So I thought it was. I have an annoying brother, and I grew up always wondering, does anyone else notice this? Which over time I found out yes. So that was comforting. So maybe I felt Martha's comfort in that other people did notice. So that I think it was written very well. At first, she was taken aback, like it's my sister that they're talking about, but then it was a comfort, in my opinion. And I think it added. I thought it was great because there are so many times where the trope is that the person killed was just so perfect.
Yes.
Right? And so this one was not. She was not. She was very smart. Again, she was layered, which I thought Susie did a fabulous job with all of these characters. They had good points and they had bad points. And I was also really relieved that the women working in the office, she didn't do even one character that they were catty to each other. They were so they work so well together. I thought Alex was going to wind up being the trope of, she's fashionable and she was going to be a pain in the butt. She was lovely having that family come. And so I just loved what Susie Dent did with the characters. I thought they were very rich, actually.
Yes, because you had Alex with the background story of her being a secret horror writer, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah. So who was the favorite characters then? Because it was quite a good group of characters. They were quite fleshed out.
I liked Safi. I thought she was really, fun and sort of she's just a very interesting character. I really liked following her. I thought she was good. I
With
can't
her
sort of
bouncing pencil all the time. I love the bouncing pencil when she's making notes all the
Yes.
time.
bobbing yes, exactly. The little
Yeah.
pom pom on the end. She was
She was
really
my
sort of
favourite character,
she
absolutely.
was just, really industrious, sort of high energy, colourful clothing. I just loved her. I thought she was great. Really good.
Yeah, she was.
And she also used her vacation time to help move the case along. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
she had such a big heart. I thought Alex had a big heart. I'd be hard pressed. The three women were definitely my favorite: Martha, Safi, and Alex. Just because I could relate to each one of them, but for different
Yes.
reasons. Again, going back to she gave such depth to the characters. I think my least favorite, I thought Simon. Is that right? Simon? Simon was annoying to me from the very beginning. But again, that's good. You have to have one annoying person in the office or it wouldn't be work, right?
No, definitely. I thought Safi was really good in that she would get really excited that they were solving clues, and then she would suddenly remember that it was actually about her colleague's missing sister and feel really bad about being excited that they'd got this quest on. So I really like that about Safi.
I liked Coldwell, the policeman.
Yes.
He was very good, wasn't he?
And understanding, and handled everything really nicely, I thought.
Yes, especially towards the end when the grave was found, he was more than just a police officer then to Martha. So there is the potential for a second book in the series. So because the diction, they can solve these things, can't they, now? So yeah, I wonder if he would make another appearance.
Clark's got something, yeah?
Yes.
What, Ellen? Sorry, what was that, Ellen?
Oh, I'm trying to see what Clark is holding up. So there is
Yes.
another book.
Oh,
And
yeah, I could read that.
In August.
in August.
Comes out in August, yeah.
I really do like the trio, the women and their interactions and their ages. So I will probably read the next book because I really like the characters.
Did anyone else see any sort of chemistry between Caldwell and Martha? I kept,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
just kept
Oh,
thinking,
yes.
are they?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what's going to drag me straight into the next book, to be honest.
I really hope that he's part of the next book. Sometimes I feel like in the first book, there's this kind of will they, won't they, and then in the next book, one of the characters is gone. But I really felt, especially at the end, I understand he was very professional, but for example, even at the wake, he comes around and puts his hand on her arm, and all these physical interactions are described very specifically. And I'm like, okay, that's actually quite unprofessional, but
I was going
okay.
to ask, is that allowed, Rebecca?
Not
Yeah, I'm like,
really.
I'm rooting for him, but at the same time, this is she is a in a way a grieved,
The vulnerable
um
woman.
yeah, exactly. So very, very interesting. But I appreciate what everyone said about Simon not being very likable, but I was actually quite surprised by the amount of grace that the other girls showed him, especially after he was drunk that night and the things that he said to Martha. I mean, I was like, that is just horrible and completely uncalled for. And yet I feel that they were constantly able to give him the benefit of the doubt while finding him annoying, and that was quite impressive.
I
I
think,
And,
yeah.
and they were quite kind at the end to
Yeah,
share the proceeds with his
yeah.
daughter. I
Ex-wife
thought that
and
was really
daughter.
nice. Although I thought Simon for sure was going to be the murderer. And I didn't see the rest of it coming. I did wonder, it was Olivia who
Yeah.
was, yes, I didn't like her, but I wasn't sure about her, but I thought I did not like Simon at all. And so when he died, it was like, oh wow.
Yeah, he's not it.
Mhm.
Well,
I I
uh,
thought I thought it was going to wind up that he was chorus, and so that was Dent's, in my opinion, a good red herring because we kept being reminded that he was the one really good at puzzles, at crossword puzzles and puzzles. So I kept thinking, oh, that is that a hint that he's the one actually writing the all of the postcard clues. Um, so she definitely fooled me on that. I thought he was the one.
but I didn't think he deserved to die, though. Poor Simon. He was annoying, but not to the point of being killed.
Yeah. There were what was unusual about this book is usually you're looking for a killer. But we had two things to figure out, as in, if you do read books to figure things out, is what happened to Charlie and who Chorus was. So were you trying to solve both, or did you just focus on one as
Both,
you were reading?
definitely both.
Both.
But you know what, on Simon, he was also the blackmailer, right? Am I remembering this correctly? So he's
Right,
more than
yeah.
annoying. I mean, he was committing a crime too. Again, I'm not suggesting he deserved to die, but all things considered, I mean, he was not he had turned into not a very nice guy.
Person.
So
Yeah.
So who figured out who Chorus was before the end? Gillian did.
I did.
You did. Did you really? Both of you?
Yeah, because there was only very few characters who it could have been really, because they had to be quite literate, and the main thing is they had to have found the book. So the one with the best chance of finding the book was somebody who was living in the house. So, I mean, I didn't get it immediately, but I did get it probably less than 2/3 of the way through.
I just guessed it was Gabriel. Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a
Who was
guess. But yeah,
Gabriel?
he seemed like the only possible one left over
It was quite a small cast of
after
characters.
Simon got thrown in the river.
Yeah, same. It was a punt, really. Kind of
I
thought
thought
that
it
was.
might be, oh sorry, I thought it might be a random character because I feel like some books they kind of just throw in at the end that one of the, whether it's the killer or someone, is someone that we've not really met or seen. So I was not very sure that it would be one of those 13 characters, to be honest.
Well, I was wondering kind of that same train of thought is if it might be Mike, because he really knew all the people. He was head when Charlie disappeared. And I was wondering if this was sort of unfinished business for him. And he's not introduced until, very late in the story. So but I was surprised when it was the father, and it was like, of course. But
But we
The only
also
other,
had
the
Bryn.
only other,
We
the
also
only
had
other
Bryn.
random character I thought it might have been, just for a minute, was the university lecturer, her friend. That was my that was my second choice, but yeah, the father was the main choice.
There was also the bookseller.
The book, yes. I thought he might have been something to do with it. Did Mike bring anything when he came into the story? Did he?
Who was Mike again?
He was the boss of the dictionary place
yes.
when Charlie went missing. And he was abroad and didn't appear into the book until about a week and a half in. Did he bring something? Was there any point when he came into the story? I can't remember whether something he said.
He talked about Charlie being possibly stealing things and selling them.
Yes.
But we already knew she was stealing, didn't we?
But she wasn't.
She wasn't stealing.
From the bookshop. No, she wasn't stealing. She was.
Well, she was still in sales.
Book auctions and buying books for herself rather than the book.
She was side hustling, really, wasn't she? But effectively, it's taking possible revenue
from the bookshop.
We know that for sure. Was that? I mean, I know that was the allegation that the bookshop owner said about her, and Martha was definitely thinking that's not quite like what Charlie would do. And we found out that in the end, she wasn't a thief at the dictionary. So did we know for sure whether she was doing that?
I think that's how she found the Shakespeare Sisters book. So
because she went to contact one of the bookseller's dealers who confirmed she'd had more than she'd then passed on to the bookshop. I think.
That's right. Yes.
So I think there was something along that. Yeah.
So she was a very complex character. Did you find her that she was, because she was never alive on the page, she was always in the past? Did you find she actually lived through the story, that you had a sense of who she was as a victim?
I think so. And in a sense, she was one of the most complex characters. And, it was what other people said about her that gradually revealed her character.
Yeah, I thought she was really well fleshed out and almost present through her sister, and then all the people who added the different points of view about her, and she was there all the time.
Yeah, because I think it can be difficult when you've got a character that is gone from the start to actually make them a character. So we think she was well fleshed out as our victim in the story.
Another one that didn't deserve to die. She was very bright. That was a bit too, but she was probably a bit too much in people's faces, and she
was confident.
Yeah.
So
can we go back to Caldwell just for a second?
Yeah, of course we can.
Okay. I was really so pleasantly surprised that the author didn't so I read a lot of mysteries and with the inspectors, etc., and it always seems to be one or the other, either the trope of the detective person who doesn't want anybody butting in, and he's belligerent and nasty, and the buffoon. So I loved that she didn't do either of those. He was kind and compassionate and very smart. So I liked that he he wasn't any of those. Because I was just bracing myself. Oh God, is he going to be one of these guys that is like, get out of here, you lay people? But no, instead he was asking them to help. Please take a look at these clues, because he could tell that this kind of thing was above his pay grade, so to speak, with what the clues were. So I just love that. I mean, I'm sounding like fangirl on this book, but I just love the characters. They surprised. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah.
They were all a nice surprise.
I have a question about yes, Caldwell. Right at the end, how did he know where to go and to start digging? I was a bit confused
I
by
can't
that.
remember. Because he was there before they figured it out.
Yeah. Alex was like, "Oh, he's already there," and then Martha kind of already guessed that Charlie was buried there, and I was like, "Wait, how does everyone know that she's buried there?" I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, he had some kind of tip-off, but I don't think we were ever told what the tip-off was.
Wasn't it from what Martha told him about one of Simon's, I mean, when Simon, she left him a message, didn't she? About Simon, when he used to take his children, his daughter, or whatever, in the pushchair around, and the area he was covering.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think she left him a message about that.
No, sure, but I felt that was a bit of a leap from there to
finding the actual place.
buried there. Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, I can remember it happening while I was driving, but no, I can't remember how the police were already there.
Rebecca, were there any famous people playing the parts in the audiobook? Any known people?
No, it was only one narrator, and she was really good, but I didn't look to see who it was. It wasn't a voice I recognised, but it was a female single narrator. She was really good, actually. So I hope she does the next one. Yeah. So we've done Cora.
Maybe we find out the nuances of how Caldwell got there first in number 2, and then we can all be impressed how smart he was.
Yes. I might have to have a look actually after.
Yeah, I was just trying to, but I can't find it quickly enough.
No, it's hard when you're trying to flick through a book when you've got a conversation going as well. So some of you figured out it was Jonathan. No, it wasn't Jonathan, it was Jonathan's wife.
Olivia.
Was that solely because she was unlikable?
But she had a temper, didn't she? She kind of had a go at Martha in the street. So
she showed her ugly side.
Yeah, that was one of my reasonings, is that she could easily lose it, and she was really jealous.
Yes.
And Charlie was, young and attractive and whatever. So.
But Charlie was the same age as her, wasn't she, at the time?
Yeah, but
they
she
were
was
both
still
students.
she was still a rival I suppose, in her mind. Yeah.
But I've worked out it was Olivia because all the clues were leading to Jonathan eventually, almost. And I thought, but that's not. No, because it's somebody this obsessed with. It's got to be somebody with a real grudge, a real beyond passion. It's an obsession. It's got to be Olivia. It's because of the way she was, and that's how I worked out it was Olivia. But if they hadn't shown, that it was possibly Jonathan, I wouldn't have worked it out. It had to be somebody who was around Jonathan, and there was only one this mad. It had to be Olivia.
I thought doing that switch at the end was quite interesting, actually, because I found myself throughout the book wondering why anyone would kill for the commonplace book of Shakespeare's sister. And all right, it's got some value to it, but actually, in the end, that's not really the motive. The motive is, I don't know, jealousy. The motive is one that is kind of easier to accept as a motive for killing. you know. So so I thought that was quite a nice switch at the end that she did.
Yeah. I can't remember what I was going to say then. Does anybody else have anything
Sorry,
else?
Rebecca.
No, that's fine. That's what we're here for everybody to say what they thought of it and what was happening. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say about it?
I wanted to say that is it Arthur, Martha's father? Is he called Arthur?
Gabriel.
Gabriel, sorry. Gabriel was didn't you find he was a kind of Jekyll and Hyde character? Because he was so different. The way he was described all through the book, this depressed person who would never, and then suddenly at the end he met Safi, and everything was sorted out about Charlie. He turned into this charming person. I mean, I don't know.
But wasn't that explained? He was being cold to Martha. There's that whole passage where it's explained he was cold to her because he wasn't sure that she didn't have something involved.
Yeah.
And that he was, and that he was so consumed with being afraid he was going to lose both daughters.
I suppose.
But
still, he could have been a bit more supportive of Martha. She lost a sister. He may have lost a daughter, but I thought
he thought it was explained. He thought he was questioning all along whether she had somehow been
something to do with her death or her disappearance,
or knew about Jonathan doing something. But I did feel he was quite unpleasant. I mean, as a father, it was very uncool, the whole book.
Yes, I thought so.
His character was one of the ones that I thought was not as well developed, because when Martha talks about her childhood, there was a part in there about when she got her A levels or something, and Charlie had the big party, and with her it was like nothing special, and that Charlie was the golden child in the family, and that Martha was always sort of the lesser child, and so there were things that I wish that she had done more with the father, other than just to make it about the fact that he was worried that she may have been involved in the murder. And I didn't really feel that it sort of added up that their relationship was still complete. And maybe in the subsequent book, there will be more that happens with him.
I thought it was particularly horrid when he said we were over A levels by then, or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was horrid to her. And
is that why we were supposed to, like, those little bits, wonder, like a little bit of doubt, could Martha have been involved? I mean, because if everything had been hunky-dory, we never would have, at least I started out thinking everybody was possible, including her, that she could be a suspect too. So to me, that I thought it was just like little drops to go, oh yeah, there was a lot going on there. Maybe it's Martha.
I think he was a red herring towards Martha. Yeah.
What did you want to say, Lynn?
Well, I was just going to say, I do agree with Muriel a little bit that the father was quite cold towards her, and he could have done things a little bit differently in the fact that he thought that she might be involved in the murder on very little evidence.
Yeah. He's also the second child of two sisters. Just thought I'd mention that. Susie Dent in real life had an older sister.
Oh, right. Still has.
Yes, and I will say I read not in this book interview, but another interview with Susie. She does talk about how she always thought she grew up always feeling that her sister was more beautiful and smarter, and that she always felt in the shadow. And I looked up her sister, and I was like, wow, to me, Susie is beautiful and like the smartest woman that you can find. And so it definitely was in her own insecurity, in my opinion. They didn't call and ask me, but Susie can certainly hold is it hold a candle to her sister? But anyway, yeah. So I read that she was always insecure about her sister.
I wonder what her sister thinks of this book.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, and the fact that she got killed off, right?
I'm the oldest of two sisters, and that's definitely not me.
Yeah,
So,
it's just a thing, isn't it? Sibling order.
I
Yeah.
think
is a
it
thing.
also depends on how the parents are towards the children in the
Yeah.
first place. And I've got two daughters. Yes, I am very aware that I can't have a favorite, and I don't have a favorite. But I've got a friend who actually told me that, oh, she's your first one, she's your best one. You know, how can you say that? You know, you got two people you love. No.
But they do say the first one is the one you make all the mistakes with.
Yeah.
Just to counter that. And I've got two girls as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you've never done it before, have you? So
exactly.
no. I have no more questions. So does anybody else have anything they want to discuss?
Can I just say one thing? I've been very quiet this evening.
You
I
have,
apologise
Yes,
for that.
Chris.
No, it's I read it a few weeks ago and then read another book after that, which was really excellent. And I suddenly came to the book group this evening and realised that I couldn't really remember anything about this book at all, which is probably to do with my age more than anything else. But I did look up Susie Dent on Wikipedia just before this meeting, and I was just really interested because she's a bit of a British treasure, and I used to lie on the sofa with my daughter. For those who don't know, she's on a word and numbers game and has been for something like 32 years. And actually, it was when she was working for OED, and when she was first asked to go on the show, she said no until her boss pointed out that it was part of her contract and she had to. And then the rest is history. And, she's now well established and seems to be popping up everywhere suddenly. She was on a new program that was on at the weekend and was on Taskmaster over Christmas as well. But it made me think how sort of domino effect has, her having to go on this program has resulted in her writing this book and everybody in this meeting enjoying and talking about it. And I don't know, I just found it interesting and thought I'd throw that in there because I didn't really have anything else to add today. So apologies.
Well, it's true, isn't it? You take a step in life and you don't know what effect that will have on things going forward. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit ashamed to say I don't actually know who she is.
Oh,
Is she on Countdown?
Yes.
Yeah, I only watched it when it was Carol Vorderman, and then now I'm older, I don't tend to watch.
She's a dictionary side, obviously the English
This kind
side.
of shows.
Yeah.
And she's on 8 out of 10 cats, and she's hilarious.
8 out of 10 cats.
She and Jimmy, she'll finally have her little segment to talk, and then he says some caustic thing, and she'll give it right back. And I mean, she's hilarious. You would think a dictionary person might be very, uptight, but she really
she's really cool.
leans into it. Yeah, she really leans into that show too.
Well, I did enjoy a book anyway, so so there's going to be a second one. Are you going to read the next book in the series? Sally says no.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will.
There's a lot of yeses.
Oh, you made me.
Ooh. Can't wait.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Anybody else have anything else? Anybody else have anything else? Sorry. I will end that.